Ladies and gentlemen, true success is rarely the result of a single breakthrough moment. We often hear stories about overnight successes: the entrepreneur who makes it big after launching a startup, the athlete who wins a championship, or the author who pens a best-selling novel. While these moments may seem sudden or serendipitous, behind every one of them is a journey of incremental progress. Success is built over time, not in an instant. When we see a successful person, we tend to look at the result, the end goal, and forget to consider the countless hours, decisions, and actions that preceded it. We overlook the many years of hard work, perseverance, and even failures that went into getting them to where they are. The reality is that success isn't an event that happens all at once. It's a culmination of small, consistent efforts that build momentum and lead to lasting achievement. Take the example of a person who wants to get fit. If they think success is defined by a single workout session or an immediate transformation, they're likely to feel discouraged or give up after just a few weeks. But when success is viewed as the result of consistent daily effort, like exercising 3 times a week, eating nourishing foods, and getting enough rest, the results will come, even if they aren't immediately visible. Over months or years, those daily habits accumulate, leading to a fitter, healthier version of themselves. Similarly, consider someone building a career. They may start in an entry-level position, not with a glamorous title or big paycheck, but with the daily grind of learning new skills, making small improvements, and consistently delivering good work. Over time, this adds up, opening doors to new opportunities and higher positions. The key here is that they didn't wait for a big break. They created it through a series of small actions, day after day. This is why success is often compared to the process of building something. It's like constructing a house. The process of laying the foundation may seem slow, and the progress may not always be obvious, but each brick, each small step is necessary to create something solid. If you rush through the process, skipping steps or cutting corners, you'll end up with something fragile and unstable. Success, like a well-built house, is the result of careful planning, consistent work, and patience. It's important to recognize that long-term success isn't something you can find in a day. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the right opportunity to come along. Instead, it's about showing up every single day, putting in the work, and trusting that the accumulation of these efforts will eventually pay off. Success isn't a destination you reach instantly, it's a journey of continuous improvement. This mindset shifts our approach to setbacks too. When we understand that success is built over time, we can view failures or challenges as temporary obstacles, not as signs that we failed or that our goals are impossible. Each setback is simply a learning moment in the ongoing process of growth. And when we approach success as a long-term project, we build the resilience to keep going even when progress feels slow. When we look at successful individuals, whether in business, sports, the arts, or any other field, there's one trait that consistently stands out: their ability to show up day after day, no matter the circumstances. Success doesn't happen because of a single monumental effort. It happens because of the steady, consistent actions taken over time. The power of consistency lies in its ability to transform small, seemingly insignificant efforts into significant, life-changing results. Think of a person learning a new language. If they practice for just 15 minutes a day, that might not seem like much at first. But over the course of a year, those 15 minutes add up to 91 hours of practice. That's enough time to become proficient in a new language, an accomplishment that would have seemed out of reach without that daily commitment. Or consider someone training for a marathon. The path to running 26.2 miles doesn't begin with a single intense training session. It starts with a decision to lace up your shoes and run consistently, even on days when the weather's bad, when you're tired, or when the progress feels slow. It's not the occasional 10-mile run that builds endurance, it's the daily, sometimes grueling, effort of showing up and doing the work. These small, incremental steps done repeatedly add up to long-term success. The most successful people don't rely on bursts of energy or inspiration to reach their goals. Instead, they focus on making progress each day, no matter how small that progress might seem. For example, the CEO who wakes up early every morning to review the company's progress, or the writer who writes a few hundred words every day, even when they don't feel inspired. These daily practices may seem trivial in isolation, but over time, they create a massive cumulative effect. Consistency also helps build momentum. When you commit to a habit every day, you create a rhythm that becomes self-reinforcing. The simple act of showing up becomes easier with time because it turns into a routine. This is where the real power lies. The more consistent you are, the less mental energy you have to invest in deciding to act. It becomes automatic. When you establish a daily habit, it's no longer about whether you feel like doing it. It's about keeping that commitment to yourself. The power of consistency isn't just about effort, it's also about resilience. Life is full of distractions, challenges, and obstacles that threaten to derail our progress. You'll face days when you don't feel motivated, when setbacks make it seem like progress is impossible, or when the results are slow to show up. But consistency is what keeps you going during those tough times. It's the ability to take small steps forward even when things aren't going your way, and trust that those steps will lead somewhere. Let's consider the example of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Edison famously failed thousands of times before he achieved success. But what made him remarkable wasn't his brilliance, it was his consistency and determination to keep going. He didn't view his failures as permanent setbacks, he saw them as part of the process. Edison's success wasn't the result of occasional genius moments, it was the result of his commitment to consistently working toward his goal, regardless of how many times he fell short. Similarly, in our own lives, the key to overcoming setbacks and obstacles is staying consistent in the face of adversity. Whether you're building a business, improving your health, or working toward a personal goal, it's the day in, day out commitment to progress that will keep you on track. We all know that large projects can feel overwhelming. A daunting goal, such as writing a book, starting a business, or even saving for a major purchase, can seem impossible when viewed as a whole. But when broken down into small, manageable steps, the process becomes much more approachable. The key is to show up every day, make progress, and trust that your consistent efforts will lead to the success you desire. Sometimes consistency also means being patient. The results of our efforts often don't show up immediately, and it's easy to get discouraged when we don't see instant returns. But real progress takes time. Just like building muscle or learning an instrument, the benefits of consistent effort aren't always visible in the short term, but they compound in powerful ways as time passes. The act of consistently showing up builds a mindset of discipline and self-control. It's not about waiting for the right time or the perfect conditions, it's about committing to the process, even when it feels uncomfortable or difficult. Success, after all, isn't just about achieving the goal, it's about developing the character and mindset that will allow you to sustain that success over the long term. In summary, the power of consistency is undeniable. It's the foundation upon which long-term success is built. Whether you're working toward a personal, professional, or academic goal, it's not the one-time bursts of effort that will get you there. It's the daily, persistent action taken over time that will lead you to success. Small steps, repeated over and over, create momentum, build discipline, and lead to significant, lasting results. So don't wait for motivation to strike or for the stars to align. Focus on consistency. Take the next step, no matter how small, and trust in the process. Over time, your consistent actions will turn into extraordinary results. When we think about success, we often imagine monumental efforts, those big actions that lead to dramatic transformations. However, what truly drives lasting change is often not the big, rare actions, but the small, seemingly insignificant habits we perform day in and day out. The power of small habits lies in their ability to compound over time, gradually adding up to create significant, often surprising progress. Think about something as simple as reading for just 15 minutes a day. That may not seem like much at first, just a few pages of a book or a quick article, but when you look at it over the course of a month, that adds up to 450 minutes or 7.5 hours of reading. Over the course of a year, that becomes 90 hours of reading. What might seem like a trivial habit suddenly becomes a powerful tool for learning and personal growth. By the end of the year, you've read several books, absorbed new knowledge, and enriched your perspective, all from a simple daily habit. Now imagine someone decides to walk for 20 minutes each day. That's less than half an hour, just enough to get the heart pumping and the body moving. Over time, this small habit adds up to about 7 hours of walking in a month. In a year, it's 84 hours or over 3 full days of consistent walking. Not only will this have a significant impact on their physical health, improving cardiovascular fitness, boosting mood, and enhancing energy levels, but it also becomes a foundation for other positive habits. As walking becomes part of their routine, they may begin to make healthier food choices or prioritize sleep. The small action of walking 20 minutes a day can ripple outward, improving multiple aspects of their life. The key here is that small habits don't just add, they compound. The results don't just accumulate in a linear fashion over time, they create a snowball effect. Imagine a person starting with just a single small habit of drinking a glass of water every morning. At first, this habit seems insignificant, but after a month of consistent practice, they're better hydrated and feeling more energized. After several months, they notice improvements in their skin, energy levels, and even in their ability to focus throughout the day. That one small habit begins to create lasting changes that are felt in other areas of their life, often in ways they didn't initially expect. Another powerful example of this is the habit of saving money. If you start by saving just $5 a day, it may not seem like a lot. But at the end of the month, that's $150 saved. At the end of a year, that's $1,825. Over time, those small daily contributions grow into a significant financial cushion, giving you more freedom and security. And the best part is that this habit often leads to others' better budgeting, smarter spending, and ultimately a healthier relationship with money. The compound effect of small habits doesn't just apply to positive changes, it works with negative habits too. For example, if you consistently eat one extra snack every day, it might seem harmless in the moment. But over time, those small, seemingly insignificant choices accumulate. If that extra snack is a sugary treat, it can lead to weight gain, energy crashes, or other health issues. Similarly, skipping exercise once in a while may not cause immediate harm, but over time it can lead to decreased fitness, lower energy levels, and a more sedentary lifestyle. This is why it's so important to be aware of the habits we're forming as they compound in either direction. What makes small habits so powerful is that they're easy to integrate into your daily life. Unlike large, overwhelming goals, small habits don't require drastic changes or major sacrifices. They are subtle shifts in your behavior that at first glance don't seem to make a significant difference. But when practiced regularly, they begin to compound, and the cumulative effect becomes far more significant than we originally anticipated. Small habits also have a ripple effect. Once you build a small habit in one area of your life, it tends to inspire other positive changes in different areas. For instance, a person who starts exercising regularly might find that their energy levels improve, making them more productive at work. They might then make better dietary choices, which in turn improves their health even further. Or a person who commits to journaling for just 5 minutes a day might find that they become more organized and focused in their other tasks as well. One simple habit creates momentum that ripples out into other aspects of their life. Small habits can even influence our mindset. When we commit to doing something small every day, whether it's making the bed in the morning, writing down our goals, or practicing mindfulness, we create a sense of discipline and control. Over time, this builds our belief in ourselves as we see the results of our consistent actions. We begin to feel more confident and capable, knowing that we can rely on ourselves to show up every day, no matter how small the task. The key to harnessing the power of small habits is consistency. The results don't show up overnight. The change is gradual. And it's easy to become discouraged when you don't see immediate results. But the real power comes from the long-term cumulative effect of those small actions. The trick is to make your habits so simple and easy to start that you can't help but succeed. For example, if you want to start reading more, don't set a goal of reading a book a week. Instead, start with the goal of reading 10 pages a day. If you want to get fitter, don't commit to an hour of exercise every day. Start with just 10 minutes of walking or stretching. The key is to make the habit so easy that you can't find an excuse not to do it. Once you build the habit, you can gradually increase it as it becomes more ingrained in your routine. And remember, small habits don't have to be perfect. It's not about being flawless, it's about showing up consistently. Even on the days when you're tired, busy, or unmotivated, you'll still make progress by sticking to the habit. No matter how small, our daily habits do more than just determine what we accomplish, they shape who we are at our core. They influence our character, our mindset, and how we approach the world around us. The small actions we take every day, whether intentional or unconscious, ultimately create the person we become. This is why habits are so powerful. They aren't just behaviors, they are reflections of our inner world, and they directly impact the trajectory of our lives and our long-term success. At the heart of it, habits are the building blocks of our identity. Consider this: when you repeatedly engage in a habit, you begin to see yourself in a particular way. If you wake up early every morning to exercise, you start to see yourself as someone who prioritizes their health and well-being. If you make it a habit to write every day, you begin to identify as a writer, regardless of whether or not you've published a book. Every small action reinforces your self-concept and shapes your identity. In fact, the habits we form define the person we're becoming. If you make a habit of procrastination, putting things off until the last minute, this doesn't just affect your ability to complete tasks on time, it slowly becomes part of how you see yourself. You begin to see yourself as someone who's disorganized or as someone who struggles with focus and discipline. But on the other hand, if you build a habit of taking small, immediate actions toward your goals, even when it feels uncomfortable or inconvenient, you begin to see yourself as someone who is proactive, driven, and disciplined. Your habits aren't just things you do, they become reflections of who you believe yourself to be. Our daily habits also have a profound impact on our mindset, the lens through which we see the world and interpret our experiences. Mindset, in turn, influences how we handle challenges, setbacks, and even our day-to-day decisions. Consider the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, two terms popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. People with a fixed mindset believe that their abilities are static and unchangeable, while those with a growth mindset believe that they can develop and improve through effort and learning. What separates these two mindsets isn't just raw talent or intelligence, it's the habits of thought that they form over time. A person with a fixed mindset might form habits like avoiding challenges, giving up easily, or blaming external factors for their failures. These habits over time reinforce the belief that their abilities are limited and cannot be expanded. On the other hand, a person with a growth mindset builds habits like embracing challenges, seeking feedback, and viewing failures as opportunities to learn. These habits create a mindset that fosters resilience, adaptability, and continuous improvement. In essence, our mindset is shaped by the mental habits we practice every day. If we habitually dwell on our weaknesses or fear failure, we reinforce a negative mindset. But if we consistently focus on growth, learning, and solutions, we cultivate a mindset that leads to success. This is why even seemingly small habits like practicing gratitude every morning or taking a moment to reframe negative thoughts can have a huge impact on how we approach life and challenges. One of the most important ways our habits shape us is in our approach to challenges. Life is full of obstacles, and how we respond to them largely determines the path we take and the success we achieve. If we develop the habit of avoiding difficult situations, procrastinating, or giving up when things get tough, we reinforce a tendency to shy away from discomfort. Over time, this creates a pattern of running from challenges instead of facing them head-on. But consider the opposite: the person who has the habit of tackling problems directly, even when they feel uneasy or uncertain. They approach challenges with curiosity, resilience, and a willingness to learn. When something goes wrong, they ask, "What can I learn from this?" rather than "Why did this happen to me?" This habit of embracing challenges doesn't just make them better at handling adversity, it shapes them into someone who views obstacles as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. The ability to face challenges with courage, persistence, and a problem-solving attitude is cultivated through consistent practice. Over time, these habits become second nature. We stop seeing failure as something to fear and instead begin to see it as part of the journey. And as we adopt this mindset, we unlock the resilience and creativity needed to overcome even the toughest situations. When we think about long-term success, we often focus on the end goal, the accomplishments, the recognition, the rewards. But real, sustainable success is not defined by a single moment or achievement. It is a product of who we become over time through our daily habits. Our habits are the invisible scaffolding that supports our success. They prepare us for the challenges ahead, equip us with the skills we need, and keep us moving forward, even when we face setbacks. For instance, a successful entrepreneur might not have gotten to where they are just because they had a great idea. They likely built habits of discipline, time management, resilience, and networking over years of consistent effort. These habits were developed long before they launched their successful venture and were essential to navigating the ups and downs of their journey. The same goes for athletes, musicians, scientists, or anyone who has reached a high level of achievement. Their success isn't solely due to talent, it's the result of their daily practices, commitment, and the character they've built over time. In fact, successful people often credit their habits for their achievements. It's not the big moments of inspiration that create success, it's the habits of consistent effort, persistence, and self-improvement that enable them to stay on course and overcome obstacles. These habits gradually shape them into someone capable of achieving extraordinary things. Understanding that our habits shape who we are gives us the power to intentionally choose the habits that will define us. If we want to become more resilient, we can build habits that challenge our comfort zones. If we want to be more focused, we can develop habits like setting daily goals or practicing mindfulness. If we want to become better communicators, we can form the habit of listening actively or expressing gratitude daily. The key is to recognize that small, intentional habits are the foundation of personal growth. The more we practice these habits, the more they become ingrained in our character, and over time, we begin to embody the qualities we aspire to. This process of habit building requires patience and consistency, but the payoff is worth it. By shaping our habits, we are, in essence, shaping the future version of ourselves. It's not just about what we do, it's about who we become as a result of our actions. One of the most powerful and often underestimated principles of success is the compound effect, the idea that small, consistent actions, whether positive or negative, will accumulate and yield exponential results over time. It's the principle that explains how slight improvements made daily can lead to extraordinary transformations, while small negative habits can lead to gradual but significant decline. At first glance, small actions don't seem to make much of an impact. Skipping one workout, eating an extra piece of cake, or spending an extra hour watching TV instead of working on a goal might not seem like they'll change much in the short term. However, over time, these tiny actions compound, and their effects become far more significant than we initially realize. Let's look at a simple example. If you improve by just 1% every day, that doesn't sound like much, does it? After all, it's a tiny increase, hardly noticeable in the day-to-day. But when you multiply that improvement over the course of a year, something remarkable happens. The compound effect takes over, and that seemingly insignificant 1% improvement each day actually results in a 37% improvement by the end of the year. This is the power of compounding. Small, consistent actions, when repeated over time, build momentum and create exponential growth. In other words, it's not about making big, dramatic changes overnight. It's about making small, incremental improvements and sticking with them over time. The same principle applies whether you're working on personal development, health, learning a new skill, or even building a business. For example, if you commit to improving your physical health by walking just 10 extra minutes a day, that small habit may not seem like it will revolutionize your fitness at first. But after a few weeks, you'll notice more energy and stamina. After months, those 10 minutes become a routine, and you begin to feel stronger and healthier. Over a year, this habit could lead to significant improvements in your fitness levels, and the positive effects ripple out to other areas of your life, like improved mood, better sleep, and greater productivity. The compound effect works because of consistency. The more consistently you repeat an action, whether it's making progress toward a goal, practicing a skill, or making better choices, the more momentum you build. This is why people often say success isn't about one big breakthrough, it's about doing the small things every single day. In fact, small habits that seem like they're not even making a difference on a daily basis can add up to enormous results. It's like the analogy of a person saving a small amount of money every month. At first, saving $100 a month might not seem like much, but over the course of a year, it adds up to $1,200. Over 10 years, that could become $12,000 plus the interest it earns. The habit of saving, although seemingly insignificant, compounds into something much larger than the sum of its parts. The key here is patience and trust in the process. Because the compound effect is gradual, it often doesn't show results immediately. It requires faith that the small actions you're taking today will eventually add up to something much bigger. This is where most people give up. They don't see immediate results and assume their efforts aren't making a difference. But the truth is, the results are often invisible until they reach a tipping point. Once the compound effect kicks in, the results can seem almost overnight. The compound effect isn't limited to just positive habits, it works with negative habits as well. In fact, the negative compound effect can be even more dangerous because it works in the same way, gradually and almost imperceptibly. Consider someone who spends just 30 minutes a day scrolling on social media. Initially, it may not seem like a big deal, but over a week, that's over 3 hours spent scrolling. Over a month, it's over 12 hours. Over a year, it's 156 hours, more than 6 full days of wasted time. Those 30 minutes a day, though small at first, compound into an enormous amount of time lost, which could have been spent on more productive activities. Similarly, eating just one unhealthy meal or skipping one workout might not have a major impact on your health today. But if you repeat those behaviors regularly, they can lead to unwanted weight gain, fatigue, and long-term health problems. The compound effect isn't just about growth, it's also about the slow erosion of progress when negative habits are allowed to build. This is why it's so important to recognize the habits we're forming, both positive and negative. Even small negative habits, when repeated consistently, can have a significant impact over time. The magic of the compound effect lies in the tipping point, that moment when the effects of consistent small actions suddenly become visible and transformative. For example, imagine you've been saving money for months but haven't seen much progress. Then one day you check your account and realize that the small contributions you've been making have grown into something much larger than you expected. You've reached a tipping point where your savings are now a significant financial cushion. This tipping point can also occur in other areas of life. If you've been working on improving your writing by writing 300 words a day, you might not notice much progress after a few weeks. But after a few months, you'll see that you've written a book's worth of content. Or if you've been practicing a musical instrument for just 15 minutes a day, you may not feel like you're making much progress initially. But after a year of consistent practice, you'll notice a significant improvement in your skill. These tipping points happen gradually, but once they occur, the results are often exponential. What started as a small daily effort suddenly becomes a major breakthrough. How to harness the power of the compound effect. The secret to harnessing the compound effect is to focus on small, daily actions that are sustainable over time. Here are a few strategies for putting the compound effect to work in your life. Start small, choose small, manageable habits that are easy to incorporate into your daily routine. Whether it's drinking more water, reading 10 pages a day, or exercising for 10 minutes, the key is to start with something achievable. Be consistent. Consistency is crucial for the compound effect to work. Don't worry about making massive changes overnight. The goal is to show up every day and make incremental progress. Track your progress. Tracking your efforts can help you see the cumulative effect over time. Whether it's through journaling, charts, or apps, seeing your progress can keep you motivated. Be patient. Understand that results will not appear immediately. The compound effect takes time. Trust that your small daily actions are building momentum and will lead to results in the future. Avoid negative compounding. Just as positive habits compound, so do negative ones. Be mindful of small, negative actions that could add up over time and derail your progress. Take action now to prevent these small habits from turning into larger obstacles. Resilience the ability to bounce back from setbacks, adapt to challenges, and keep moving forward in the face of adversity is one of the most important traits for long-term success. It's not just about how we react to major life events, but about how we consistently approach the small challenges and stresses we encounter on a daily basis. The good news is that resilience is not something we are born with. It's something we can cultivate through our daily habits and mindset. Daily practices like reframing setbacks, practicing gratitude, and other intentional behaviors can help build resilience over time. These small actions, when consistently practiced, prepare us for bigger challenges and allow us to persevere through difficulties. Resilience is less about being invincible and more about being able to recover, learn, and grow from adversity. And the best part is, resilience is a skill, one that can be developed with intention and consistency. Setbacks are an inevitable part of life. We all face challenges, whether it's a failed project, a personal loss, a missed opportunity, or even just a bad day. But how we interpret those setbacks can make all the difference. The key to resilience lies in reframing these situations, changing the way we view and respond to failure. Instead of seeing a setback as a defeat, resilient individuals view it as a learning opportunity. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? What does this teach me about my approach or my effort? By reframing setbacks in this way, we begin to build a mindset that sees failure as a stepping stone, not an endpoint. For example, imagine you've been working hard on a project only to find that it didn't yield the results you expected. A person without resilience might feel defeated, discouraged, or even give up. But someone with resilience might take a step back, reflect on what went wrong, and ask questions like, what can I do differently next time? Did I miss any key details? How can I improve in the future? By reframing the setback as part of the growth process, they build the mental muscle to keep going. Another incredibly powerful habit for building resilience is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude doesn't just make us feel good in the moment, it shifts our mindset and helps us focus on the positive, even during difficult times. Research has shown that practicing gratitude can reduce stress, improve emotional well-being, and increase our ability to cope with challenges. When we face adversity, it's easy to become fixated on what's going wrong, on the obstacles and difficulties that seem overwhelming. But cultivating the habit of gratitude allows us to shift our focus. Even in tough times, we can remind ourselves of the things we are thankful for: our health, our relationships, our opportunities, or the small wins we've experienced. This shift in focus allows us to maintain a more positive outlook and prevents us from becoming overwhelmed by negativity. Daily gratitude practices might include keeping a gratitude journal, where you write down 3 things you're thankful for every day. Or it might be a simple moment of reflection each morning or evening, where you pause to recognize the good in your life. Over time, this habit strengthens your resilience because it trains your mind to look for the positive, to find meaning in challenging situations, and to build emotional fortitude when faced with setbacks. Self-compassion is another daily practice that plays a crucial role in building resilience. It's easy to be hard on ourselves when we fail, make a mistake, or don't meet our expectations. But harsh self-criticism can have a detrimental effect on our ability to bounce back from failure. In fact, self-criticism often leads to feelings of shame, guilt, and discouragement, which can cause us to give up or avoid challenges altogether. On the other hand, practicing self-compassion means treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a close friend in times of struggle. It involves recognizing that we are all imperfect, that mistakes and setbacks are part of being human, and that they do not define our worth or our potential for success. When we practice self-compassion daily, we cultivate an internal environment of emotional safety, where we feel supported and empowered to learn from our mistakes rather than being paralyzed by them. This practice doesn't excuse poor performance or stop us from improving. Instead, it helps us maintain a growth mindset, where we are encouraged to keep trying, learning, and developing without the added burden of self-judgment. Another habit that contributes to resilience is mindfulness, the practice of staying present and being aware of our thoughts and emotions without judgment. Mindfulness allows us to respond to situations thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. This is crucial when it comes to overcoming challenges because it enables us to keep our emotions in check, preventing us from becoming overwhelmed by negative feelings such as frustration, anger, or anxiety. When we practice mindfulness daily, we become more aware of the thought patterns that arise during stressful situations. Are we prone to catastrophizing? Do we automatically assume the worst? Do we get stuck in negative loops? By recognizing these patterns, we can choose a more balanced and realistic perspective, which helps us stay calm and focused in difficult circumstances. Mindfulness also helps us regulate our emotions, something that is essential for resilience. In the face of adversity, it's easy to get swept away by our emotions, but mindfulness allows us to observe them without being controlled by them. This emotional awareness gives us the space to choose how we respond, which ultimately strengthens our ability to handle challenges. Resilience isn't just about mental toughness and grit, it's also about knowing when to rest and recharge. Many people mistakenly believe that building resilience means always pushing through, never resting, and constantly striving. However, resilience requires balance. Just as a muscle needs time to recover after exercise, our minds and bodies need periods of rest to maintain our strength and endurance over time. By building the habit of self-care, whether through regular sleep, exercise, or relaxation techniques like meditation or deep breathing, we can prevent burnout and increase our capacity to cope with stress. When we make rest a priority, we ensure that we have the energy and mental clarity to face the challenges that come our way. Without proper recovery, resilience weakens, and we risk becoming overwhelmed by life's demands. One of the most powerful aspects of building resilience through daily habits is that these practices don't just help us navigate challenges, they also spill over into other areas of our lives. As we cultivate habits like gratitude, reframing setbacks, mindfulness, and self-compassion, we become more equipped to handle not only the challenges we face, but also the opportunities for growth and success that come our way. These habits also influence the way we interact with others. When we are resilient, we tend to be more patient, empathetic, and supportive both to ourselves and to those around us. Our resilience fosters a positive environment at work, in relationships, and in all areas of life. By practicing these habits daily, we create a ripple effect that strengthens our overall well-being and enhances our ability to contribute to the well-being of others. Self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools for personal development and long-term success. It's a practice that involves looking inward, examining our thoughts, actions, behaviors, and goals, and using this insight to adjust and grow. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of our larger vision or to continue pushing forward without pausing to assess whether we're on the right path. This is where self-reflection becomes crucial. It allows us to pause, reassess, and realign ourselves with our intentions, goals, and values. Growth isn't a linear process. It's often messy, full of course corrections and detours. Regular self-reflection serves as our compass, helping us navigate through the uncertainty, challenges, and changes we encounter. By reflecting on our actions, progress, and goals, we can ensure that we are heading in the direction that aligns with our vision and adjust our course when necessary. Self-reflection is more than just a tool for evaluating past behavior. It is the key to evolving into the best version of ourselves. At the heart of self-reflection is the cultivation of self-awareness. To reflect effectively, we must first understand where we stand emotionally, mentally, and behaviorally. Self-awareness is about having an honest, clear view of ourselves without the filters of ego, defensiveness, or external pressure. When we regularly reflect, we create the space to become aware of our thoughts, beliefs, habits, and patterns of behavior. Self-awareness empowers us to recognize areas where we are thriving and areas where we may be stagnating or even sabotaging our progress. It allows us to assess whether our actions are in alignment with our values and long-term vision. For example, if we find ourselves procrastinating frequently or avoiding tough conversations, reflection gives us the chance to understand why we're behaving this way and what we can do about it. This insight is the first step toward behavioral change and growth. A major part of self-reflection is checking whether our day-to-day actions are moving us closer to the larger goals we've set for ourselves. We can have grand ambitions, but without regularly evaluating whether we're taking the right steps toward achieving them, it's easy to veer off course. Self-reflection provides us with the opportunity to stay aligned with our vision by allowing us to reassess our priorities and identify any disconnects between our actions and our long-term goals. For instance, imagine you've set a goal to advance in your career. On a day-to-day basis, it's easy to get caught up in immediate tasks like emails, meetings, or deadlines. By engaging in self-reflection, you can ask questions like, am I investing my time and energy in the things that matter most? Are my actions aligned with my values and long-term ambitions? This kind of reflection provides clarity and allows us to course correct, ensuring we remain on track toward our goals. One of the most valuable outcomes of self-reflection is gaining a clearer understanding of our strengths and weaknesses. It's easy to get caught up in self-criticism or doubt, especially when we face setbacks or challenges. But self-reflection offers us a more balanced and objective view. By reflecting on our past actions and outcomes, we can begin to identify the areas where we excel and the areas where improvement is needed. For example, after completing a project, taking time to reflect on the experience can reveal strengths you may not have fully recognized. Perhaps you're great at managing time, solving problems under pressure, or communicating effectively with your team. Recognizing these strengths not only boosts confidence, but also enables you to leverage them in future endeavors. Reflection isn't just about recognizing where we are, it's about making adjustments and course corrections. The truth is, growth and progress are rarely achieved through a straight line. There will always be setbacks, unexpected challenges, and even moments of failure. But the key to growth is how we respond to these moments, and that's where self-reflection plays a pivotal role. When we reflect regularly, we're able to identify areas where we can improve or adjust our approach. This might mean rethinking a strategy that isn't working, adjusting our goals to make them more realistic, or making changes in our daily habits. Without reflection, we risk continuing on autopilot, repeating the same behaviors without understanding why they're not working or how we can improve. For example, if you've been working toward a fitness goal and haven't seen progress, reflecting on your daily habits and routines can help you uncover why. Maybe your workouts aren't intense enough, or you're not recovering properly between sessions. Or perhaps you're not getting enough sleep, which is affecting your performance. Through reflection, you can identify the root cause of the issue and make adjustments that move you closer to your goal. Self-reflection also increases accountability. When we take time to evaluate our progress, we are reminded of our commitments and the reasons behind our goals. It's easy to lose motivation when we don't have a clear sense of why we started or where we're headed. Reflection helps rekindle that spark of inspiration by reminding us of our purpose and the bigger picture. Moreover, regular reflection helps us stay accountable to ourselves. It's easy to set goals and promises at the beginning of the year or during a moment of inspiration, but without tracking progress and reflecting on our actions, it's easy to fall off track. Self-reflection encourages us to check in regularly, ensuring that we're staying true to our word and making meaningful progress. By reflecting on our emotions and responses to various situations, we can gain better insights into how we handle stress, failure, and success. Understanding our emotional triggers and reactions helps us become more emotionally intelligent, allowing us to navigate challenges more effectively and build healthier relationships with ourselves and others. One of the most profound benefits of self-reflection is that it fosters a growth mindset. When we reflect on our experiences, especially our failures and challenges, we start to see them as part of the learning process, rather than as setbacks. This shift in mindset is essential for long-term growth. The idea that habits can be cultivated is incredibly empowering because it means that no matter where you start, you have the ability to create the life you want by consistently working on the habits that support that vision. It's not about trying to adopt a brand new habit overnight or expecting instant results. It's about taking small, intentional steps every day and building momentum over time. The process of cultivating habits requires patience, self-awareness, and a long-term mindset, but with consistency, even the most challenging habits can become second nature. To understand why habits can be cultivated, it's important to recognize the science behind habit formation. Habits are essentially patterns of behavior that our brains have encoded over time. When we repeat an action consistently, our brain creates neural pathways that make the behavior easier to perform. In the beginning, the behavior feels deliberate and requires conscious effort. But as we repeat it, the brain shifts the behavior into automatic mode, meaning we no longer have to think about it as much. This is why habits are sometimes called automatic behaviors. However, just as you can form good habits, you can also form bad habits. The brain doesn't distinguish between good and bad habits, it simply encodes behaviors based on repetition. Therefore, the key to cultivating new positive habits is to replace old, unproductive patterns with behaviors that are aligned with your goals. Through consistent practice and deliberate repetition, you can create new neural pathways and gradually replace unwanted habits with new, more empowering ones. One of the most important principles of habit formation is to start small. Trying to change too many things at once or attempting a drastic overhaul of your lifestyle can be overwhelming and lead to burnout. Instead, focus on one small habit at a time and gradually increase the intensity or complexity as the habit becomes ingrained.